Saha. Okay, suppose we want to go from a minor key to a major key. What would the road be to get there? Let's try this way. Okay, so suppose we're going to go from A minor to C major. Okay, let's start in A minor with a passing progression. Okay, we know this 1, 5, 4, 3 perhaps to 1, 6. Okay, we want to go to the parallel, or to the relative major key. Okay, keeping in mind that right here, I'm on 6, 6 in the key that I want to get to. In terms of circle progression, 6, if this is a 6th chord in C, 6 goes to 2. 2 in C, believe it or not, maybe we need to make a little equation over here. In C major, 2 equals a D minor chord. In terms of A minor, D equals 4. Interesting. So the next chord, okay, if the next chord is in fact 4 in A minor, that could be a common chord between these two keys. Now watch this. Suppose 4 goes in circle progression to 7, which is highly unusual, we've learned, in major keys because of the tritone problem. However, here, this could serve as the foundation for a common chord modulation. 7 doesn't make a lot of sense, but 2, 5, 7, and maybe 1 in C major does make sense. And oftentimes in an example like this, the common chord modulation will be re-established through a 2-5-1 progression, or maybe even 2-6 or 4. So the question is, what happens after the modulation? Okay, so let's listen up to the point of modulation. Reestablished after the common chord modulation. In this case, it was 4, and then 5, 7, and then 1. Okay, so the key here is that we're really, when it comes to the chords, these aren't any harder than anything else we've been doing. Actually, I played a 5, 6, 4 chord here in this case. 4 to 5 to 1 isn't any more difficult than what we did in the end of the first semester, or perhaps the beginning of the second semester. What's different is this right here. And so we can't be freaked out about that. It's not a big deal at all. I mean, if you heard it go to a major key, what is the most likely option? Okay, at this point, in terms of modulation. And then figuring out what happens to establish that key. Usually it's the usual suspects, okay, 4, 5, and 1. Let's listen to another manifestation of this, and then we'll call it a day. This is, I'll do this key. here to have 2 even 505 in the new key as a 7th chord, 5, and then 1. So it's kind of like you have 2 different chord progressions happening at the point of modulation. What happens in one key, and then what happens in the other key. Okay, so study your modulations from Thursday of last week, where we looked at modulation to the dominant and major, and then examine and memorize these possibilities when it comes to minor key modulations to the relative major. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for being patient with our schedule as we do off-campus lectures. And I hope this was useful, at least from the standpoint of being able to kind of rewind class, because I know how useful that can actually be, especially those of you who are regularly taping the lectures and rewinding them that way. I certainly found that useful when I got through